Hate me if you must, but you're still coming home. His words echo in my mind as the darkness releases me, as the shadows depositing us back into his realm fade like smoke. The journey through the veil between worlds left me breathless, furious, and utterly trapped by a contract I sealed with 6 pomegranate seeds. 6 seeds. 6 months. 6 months to die from the trial Mother warned me about. The chamber is a cage of luxury. Black silk sheets twisted around my legs. Obsidian walls that reflect fractured versions of myself into infinity. The crystalline ceiling revealing galaxies that wheel slowly overhead, indifferent to my turmoil. Blue flames float near the corners, casting everything in that haunting, beautiful glow I've come to associate with this realm. With him, I've been here for 3 days, or maybe 4. Time moves strangely in the underworld, and I've stopped trying to track it. All I know is that the silver in my veins pulses with each heartbeat, spreading further through my body with every passing hour. I can see it now when I look in the mirror, not just in my eyes, which have gone almost colorless with silver threading through them like lightning, but threading through the veins visible beneath my pale skin. They pulse faintly in the darkness, mapping my transformation in delicate lines. I'm waiting to die. Mother said the trial would burn me from the inside out, that the magic would consume me, that I would scream for weeks before the end. I wait for the pain to start, for the fire to ignite in my bones. But it never comes. The silver spreads, yes. My magic twists and changes, becoming something darker and more dangerous with each passing hour. But there's no agony, no burning, just this cold, crystalline transformation that feels more like becoming than dying. I don't understand it, and the person who could explain it to me has made himself utterly, devastatingly absent. Hades. His name is a wound I can't stop pressing on. I haven't seen him since we arrived, since he deposited me in this chamber with words like ice and fury. Do whatever you want with your hatred. It changes nothing. Part of me is grateful. I came here ready to fight, to rage, to make him regret ever choosing me for his twisted experiment. His absence denies me that satisfaction. But another part, a part I tried desperately to ignore, aches at his withdrawal. The underworld feels different without his presence. Still beautiful, still strangely peaceful, but incomplete somehow. Like a story missing its most crucial character. The blue flames seem dimmer. The silver rivers sound mournful. Even the air tastes of absence. I hate that I notice. I hate that I care. I hate that sometimes, in the moments between waking and sleeping, I forget to be angry and just miss him with an intensity that steals my breath. The chamber door opens without warning, and I sit up sharply, heart hammering with an emotion I refuse to name as hope. But it's not him. It's a shade, a translucent servant of the underworld carrying a tray of food. She sets it on the table near the window without a word, bows, and dissolves back into shadow. I don't eat. I haven't eaten since I arrived, too afraid that consuming more of the underworld's sustenance will speed whatever death awaits me. The food sits untouched until another shade comes to remove it, and the cycle repeats. Days blur into each other. Maybe a week passes, maybe more. The hunger becomes a constant companion, gnawing at my insides. But it's the magic that suffers most. The silver in my veins pulses erratically, sometimes burning hot, sometimes going cold as ice. My power feels unstable, wild, like it's searching for something it can't find. On what might be the 10th day, I can't stand it anymore. The weakness makes my hands shake. The room spins when I stand too quickly. And the magic gods, the magic feels like it's eating me from the inside, trying to sustain itself on nothing. When the shade brings the evening meal, I stare at it for a long time. Fruits that gleam like jewels, bread that smells of honey and darkness, wine, the color of midnight. My hands are trembling when I reach for the bread. The first bite is transcendent. The bread tastes of honey and shadow, wildflower nectar collected under moonlight, grain ripened in darkness. It melts on my tongue with layers I've never experienced. Midnight blooms, deep earth, captured starlight. The fruit is tart and sweet at once, with undertones of cold stone and ancient magic, like biting into the essence of the underworld itself. By the third bite, I'm devouring everything on the plate, and I feel the magic in my veins surge in response, not painfully, but like a parched plant, finally receiving water. The silver steadies, spreads further, and I realize with dawning horror that Hades was right. The food doesn't kill, it transforms. It feeds the change happening inside me. I eat every meal after that, watching as the silver creeps further through my body with each passing day, as my magic twists into something that belongs more to shadow than spring. 2 weeks become 3, 3 become a month. I wander the palace halls, when the isolation becomes too much, always careful to avoid the places I think he might be. But the underworld is vast, and my caution can't last forever. It happens in one of the crystalline forests. I'm walking through trees that chime softly in an unfelt wind, trying to clear my head. When I sense him before I see him, the temperature drops, the shadows deepen, and then he's there, emerging from between the trees like he's part of them. We both freeze. He looks worse than I've ever seen him. Shadows under his eyes, jaw tight with tension, his whole body radiating carefully controlled distance. When his silver eyes meet mine, something flashes through them. Pain, longing, fury before the cold mask descends. Persephone. My name is formal, distant. Hades. I hate how my voice shakes. For a moment, we just stare at each other across the small clearing. The air between us crackles with unspoken words, accusations, apologies neither of us knows how to voice. You're eating now, he observes quietly. Good, the transformation needs fuel. So I can die properly? The words come out more bitter than I intend. His jaw clenches. So you can survive. Survive to be your weapon, your experiment. The words are bitter, unfair, but I can't stop them. How many more months until the trial kills me? Something dangerous flashes in his eyes. Is that really what you think of me? I don't know what to think anymore. Then perhaps you should have asked before you convicted me. His voice is quiet, deadly. Before you believed lies from someone who's kept you caged your entire existence. She's my mother. She's a warden who poisoned the first real choice you ever made. He takes a step closer, fury bleeding through his control. She twisted my greatest failure into a weapon and aimed it at your heart. Your failure? I laugh, ugly and sharp. The women who died, screaming from your trial. His expression shutters completely. I see. You've already decided I'm the monster. He turns away. There's no point in defending myself. Then tell me I'm wrong. I'm shouting now, desperate. Tell me she lied. Why? He whirls back, real anger blazing in his face. So you can twist whatever I say into more evidence of my cruelty. You made your choice when you chose her story over everything we built together. I hate you. I breathe. Good. The word cuts like broken glass. Hold on to that. It will make the next 6 months easier. Then he turns and dissolves into shadow, leaving me alone and shaking with emotions I can't name. After that, I see him occasionally in the distance, a dark figure standing on a balcony overlooking his kingdom, a shadow moving through corridors. I've just left. We never speak again. Never get close enough to risk another confrontation. The loneliness becomes crushing. 6 weeks pass. Then 8. The silver has spread through my veins. I can feel it pulsing with each heartbeat. A cold fire that burns but doesn't hurt. My eyes have changed completely. The blue almost entirely washed out, replaced by pale silver that glows faintly in the darkness. My magic has transformed flowers, bloom in shades of grey and silver. Vines grow thorns of black glass. Everything I touch gains an edge of shadow. I should be dying. Mother said I'd be screaming by now, burning from the inside out. Instead, I feel strong, alive. The magic sings instead of hurting. The underworld energizes me in ways the surface never did. Everything Mother said should be killing me is making me more powerful than I've ever been. The doubt creeps in slowly. What if she was wrong? What if she lied? But every time I start to question, I remember her tears, her love. She's my mother. She wouldn't lie about something like this, would she? 10 weeks in the underworld, and I'm going mad from isolation and uncertainty. On the 72nd day, I can't stand the confinement anymore. I dress in the clothes that have been provided, a gown of light grey silk that looks almost silver in the blue light, fitted close to my body before flowing to the floor. When I catch my reflection, I barely recognize myself. The soft spring maiden is gone. In her place stands something wilder, darker, with silver-shot eyes and an expression that could cut glass. Mother would be horrified. The thought brings a twisted satisfaction. I leave the chamber and wander the obsidian halls. The palace is massive, labyrinthine, and I have no destination in mind. I just walk, trailing my fingers along cool stone walls, watching blue flames dance in the corners of my vision, listening to the whisper of my gown against the floor. The silence here is different from the oppressive quiet of Mother's garden. This silence has weight and texture. It's the silence of ancient stones and patient darkness. The silence of a kingdom that has existed since before memory and will exist long after. It should terrify me. Instead, it soothes something raw and bleeding inside my chest. My feet carry me down, always down, following some instinct I don't fully understand. The air grows cooler, damper. The sound of water echoes through stone corridors, and then I step through an archway and find myself on the shore of the river Styx. The water is exactly as I remember, black as ink, but somehow luminous, flowing with a current that seems to exist outside normal time. Crystals line the cavern walls, singing softly as the river passes. And there, just offshore, is Charon's boat. The ferryman himself stands in the bow, his ancient face turned toward me as if he's been expecting me. "Persephone," he says in that voice like gravel over stone. "I wondered when you'd wander down here." I moved to the water's edge, wrapping my arms around myself. I needed to get out of that room. Rooms are for the living to feel safe. Charon pushes his boat closer to shore with one easy movement of his oar. "You're neither living nor dead anymore, goddess. You don't fit in rooms. The words should sting. Instead, they feel like truth. He told me you were wise, I say quietly. He tells everyone I'm a cantankerous old bastard who talks too much. Charon's weathered face might be smiling. It's hard to tell, but then, Hades has always been better at hiding than revealing. At the sound of his name, something in my chest constricts. The memory of our confrontation in the crystalline forest burns his fury. My accusations, the cold finality of his departure. I saw him, I say before I can stop myself. Weeks ago, it didn't go well. No, I imagine it didn't. Charon leans on his oar, those pale, timeless eyes, studying me with unsettling intensity. He came down here after, stood on this shore for 3 days straight, staring at the water like it held answers. Didn't speak, didn't move, just broke, quietly, where no one could see. The image cuts deeper than any blade. Guilt twists in my stomach, sharp and nauseating. You're a fool, Charon says simply, without heat. You listen to the sun, but ignore the shadows. You hear accusations, and believe them over the evidence of your own eyes. Your mother is terrified of losing control. He pushes his boat back from the shore slightly. And you gave her the perfect weapon, your doubt. Your willingness to believe the worst, instead of asking for the truth. I don't know what's true anymore. Then perhaps you should stop listening to those who fear the darkness, and start talking to those who understand it. Charon begins to drift away, his form starting to blur into the mist. Find Hecate in the Silver Gardens if you want answers. She was there, for all of it. The tragedy, the grief, the centuries of guilt. His voice echoes back across the water. Ask her about the women who died. Ask her who really gave them the fruit. Then he's gone, swallowed by shadow, leaving me alone with questions that taste like poison and hope in equal measure. I hurry through corridors of obsidian and shadow, following instinct and the faint pull of something that might be magic or might be desperation. The palace opens around me like a flower revealing its heart, showing me paths I didn't know existed. And then I'm in a garden. Not the barren place Hades showed me before. This garden is alive with the silver flowers we created together. Blooms that glow in the darkness, petals like moonlight, stems of black glass, and thorns sharp as secrets. They've spread, multiplying, covering what was once bare stone, with strange, beautiful growth. Our garden, the proof of what we made together, standing in the center of it, tending to a vine with elegant, careful hands, is a woman I've never seen before. She's tall and ageless, with skin like polished mahogany and hair that shifts between black and silver, depending on how the light catches it. She wears robes of deep purple that seem to be woven from twilight itself. And her eyes, gods, her eyes hold the weight of millennia, and the sharp intelligence of someone who has forgotten more magic than most gods will ever learn. Hecate, I breathe. She doesn't look up from the vine she's examining. Persephone, I wondered when you'd find your way here. Her voice is silk over steel, though I expected you sooner. Charon said you were wandering the palace like a lost spirit. You knew I was coming? Child, I'm the goddess of magic, crossroads, and hidden things. Now she does look at me, and her gaze is penetrating. I know everything that happens in this realm, including the spectacular mess you've made of things. The bluntness should offend me. Instead, it's almost a relief. I need the truth. About the trial. About the women who died. finally asking the right questions. Hecate sets down the vine and turns to face me fully. Very well, but don't expect the answers to be comfortable. She gestures, and 2 seats materialize from shadow elegant chairs that look carved from frozen smoke. I sit because my legs are shaking, and she settles across from me with the grace of someone who has all the time in the world. The trial of the onyx throne, she begins, and her voice takes on the cadence of someone reciting history, an ancient magic, older than the Olympians. When someone consumes the fruit of the underworld, the realm itself tests them. If their soul can harmonize with death's power, they transform, become something new, something that belongs to both life and death. She pauses. If they can't harmonize, the magic tears them apart from the inside. My stomach clenches. So Mother wasn't lying about that. Oh, she was lying about everything else. Hecate's smile is sharp. The trial exists, yes, but Hades never used it as a test for potential queens. He never offered the fruit to anyone before you. But the others were fools. Hecate's voice goes hard. Ambitious nymphs who heard whispers of power in the underworld. Mortals who thought they could steal immortality. They came here seeking to take what wasn't offered, to grasp at power they hadn't earned. She leans forward. Hades caught them trying to steal pomegranates from his personal gardens. He forbade them explicitly, warned them what would happen, showed them the scorched stones, where others had tried and failed. I'm barely breathing. What happened? They didn't listen. Hecate's expression is grim. Greed made them deaf. They waited until they thought he wasn't watching. Then they took the seeds and consumed them. The trial began immediately, and because their souls held only ambition and no true affinity for darkness, the magic burned them alive from within. The image she paints is horrific. I can picture it too clearly. Desperate women screaming as silver fire consumes them, their greed turning to ash in their mouths. Hades tried to save them. Hecate continues quietly. He pulled the magic out with his bare hands, trying to absorb it himself, to stop the transformation. I was there. I watched him burn, watched his skin blacken and crack, watched him scream as he took their agony into himself. Her voice drops. It didn't work. The trial, once begun, cannot be stopped by external force. They died, and he carried their charred bodies to the asphodel fields himself, whispering apologies the whole way. Tears are streaming down my face now, hot against my cold skin. He blamed himself. He always does. Hecate's expression softened slightly. He forbade anyone from touching the fruit after that, sealed the gardens, kept the pomegranates under guard and wards. For centuries, no one touched them. He swore he'd never risk another death, never again watch someone burn because of his realm's ancient magic. Until me, I whisper. Until you. Hecate nods. He saw your silver magic blooming that first day you touched his garden, saw how the darkness responded to you, how the shadows welcomed rather than rejected you. He knew somehow. He knew that you could survive the trial, that your soul already held enough darkness to harmonize with his realm. So he offered me the fruit. He took the greatest risk of his existence. Hecate's voice rings with something that might be respect, knowing that if he was wrong, if he'd misjudged, he'd have to watch you burn. He'd have to live with your death on his conscience along with all the others. But he believed in you enough to take that chance. The words land like blows, each one shattering another piece of the careful walls I've built around my heart. My mother told me he'd done it before, that I was just another test subject, another experiment in his search for a weapon. Your mother, Hecate says coldly, took his greatest tragedy and weaponized it. She twisted his guilt, his trauma, his careful protection of you into a narrative of cruelty and manipulation. And you, her eyes pin me in place. You believed her, despite everything he showed you, everything you felt here. You chose to believe the worst of him. I was afraid, I say, but it sounds like the excuse it is. Of course you were afraid. Transformation is terrifying. Love is terrifying. Hecate stands, and power radiates from her like heat from a forge. But fear doesn't excuse cruelty. You came back here with accusations and hatred, called him a monster, threw his greatest failure in his face like a weapon. And for what? Because your mother is so desperate to keep you in her suffocating garden that she'll destroy anything that threatens her control? Each word is a lash, and I deserve every one. I didn't know, I whisper. You didn't ask. Hecate's voice is relentless. You didn't give him a chance to explain. You convicted him and delivered the sentence in the same breath. He must hate me, I say, my voice breaking. Hate? Hecate laughs, bitter and sharp. Child, if he hated you, this would be so much simpler. He could lock you away, ignore you for 6 months, count down the days until you leave. She moves toward the garden's edge, her form starting to dissolve into shadow. No, what Hades feels for you is far more dangerous than hate. The words hit me like a physical blow. Where is he? I'm on my feet, desperate. I need to find him. I need to... He's in the throne room. Hecate's voice echoes as she fades. Where he's been for days, staring at the onyx throne that no one has sat beside his for thousands of years, trying to accept that it will remain empty forever. Her form is almost gone now, just a wisp of shadow and starlight. Go to him, tell him the truth, but understand that some wounds don't heal just because you finally decided to stop twisting the knife. Then she's gone, and I'm alone in the garden we created together, surrounded by silver flowers that bloom in darkness, with the truth burning in my chest like the fire I've been waiting for. I move through the palace, my heart pounding, following corridors I somehow know, pulled by a thread of connection I've been trying to deny since I arrived. The throne room looms ahead, massive doors of obsidian carved with scenes of judgment and mercy, death and rebirth. As I approach, the doors swing open before me, silent, inevitable, as if the palace itself has been waiting for this moment. I step through and freeze. The throne room is vast, with that same crystalline ceiling revealing galaxies overhead. Blue flames line the walls, casting everything in cold, beautiful light. And in the center, on a dais of black stone, sit 2 thrones. One is clearly his massive, carved from obsidian so dark it seems to swallow light, with armrests shaped like the wings of ravens and a high back inlaid with silver that forms patterns of rivers and roots, and the slow, eternal cycle of death. The other throne is smaller, elegant, empty. It's carved from the same obsidian, but veins of silver run through it like lightning, and delicate flowers, silver flowers like the ones in our garden, are carved along its edges. He made a throne for me, a throne that sits beside his, waiting, and standing before it, one hand resting on its empty seat, is Hades. He doesn't turn when I enter, doesn't acknowledge my presence at all. He just stares at the throne with an expression so bleak, so full of resigned despair, that it breaks something fundamental inside my chest. "Hades," I whisper. His back goes rigid. For a long moment, he doesn't move. Then, slowly, he turns to face me. "Gods." He looks exhausted. There are shadows under his silver eyes that weren't there before. His jaw is tight with tension, and his hands, I can see the faint scars now. Silvery marks that might be from ancient burns are clenched at his sides. "Persephone." My name is carefully neutral on his lips. "Do you need something?" The formal tone is worse than anger would have been. This is the voice he'd use with a stranger, with a prisoner. "I spoke to Hecate," I say, and my voice cracks. "And Charon. They told me what really happened. With the others. With the pomegranate." Something flickers in his expression too quick to read, before the mask descends again. "I see. You tried to save them." Tears are streaming down my face again. "You burned yourself trying to stop the trial from killing them. And I threw it in your face, like you were some kind of monster who..." "Stop." The word is quiet but absolute. He turns away from me, facing the empty throne again. "You don't owe me this." "Yes, I do." I move closer, desperate for him to look at me. "I accused you of things you never did. I believed my mother's lies without question. I came here ready to hate you. And you gods, you let me. You didn't defend yourself, didn't explain, just let me believe the worst. Because what was the point?" Now he does turn, and the raw pain in his eyes steals my breath. "You made your choice, Persephone. The moment you chose to believe her over everything you experienced here, over everything I showed you, you made your choice. What good would explanations do? Would they change the fact that you trusted her poison more than my truth? The words are knives, and I deserve every cut." "I was afraid," I whisper. "I know." His voice is impossibly gentle, which somehow makes it worse. "I understand fear. I would never hold that against you. But fear doesn't excuse betrayal. It doesn't undo the accusations. And it doesn't change the fact that when you had to choose between trusting what we built together and believing the lies of someone who's controlled you your entire life." He stops, jaw working. "You chose her." "I'm sorry." The words are pathetically inadequate. "I should have asked you, should have given you a chance to explain. Should have, could have, would have." He turns back to the throne, his hand tracing the silver flowers with devastating tenderness. "It doesn't matter now." "It does matter." I move closer, and before I can think better of it, my hand reaches out, brushing his arm. I'm saying it because it's true. I reach up slowly, giving him every chance to pull away, and cup his face in my hands. The moment my skin touches, his silver magic explodes between us. It's like lightning, and ice, and fire, all at once. The power surges up through where we're connected, and I gasp as it fills me, not burning, not destroying, but completing. The silver in my veins flares brilliant, and I feel the underworld itself respond, welcoming me, claiming me, singing in harmony with magic I didn't know I possessed. Hades sucks in a sharp breath, his eyes going wide. I can see the magic moving through him too. Silver light racing along his skin like veins of pure power. For a moment, we're connected completely, life and death, spring and winter, light and shadow, merged into something neither of us can be alone. Then he pulls away, and the loss of contact is physically painful. "Don't," he says, and his voice is ragged. "Don't touch me. Don't." He backs away, putting distance between us. The trial is still progressing. Your magic is still transforming until it's complete, until the silver fully settles. The connection between us is too dangerous. Dangerous how? I step toward him, and he steps back. It makes me want things I can't have. The admission is torn from him. It makes me hope when I should know better. It makes me forget that you hate me, that you came here screaming accusations, that you... He stops, closing his eyes. "Please, just go back to your chamber. Let the transformation complete on its own. Every interaction between us intensifies the magic, accelerates the process. If I touch you again, if we..." His voice goes rough. "It could make the trial unpredictable, dangerous. I won't risk you like that." He takes a shuddering breath. "And when the transformation is complete, when you're safe, I'll find a way to break the contract. I'll let you go back to her. You won't have to spend 6 months here hating me. Won't have to." "I don't hate you." The words are barely a whisper. "I thought I did. I tried to, but I don't. I never really did." His eyes snap open, and what I see there, desperate, terrified hope, makes my heart stutter. "You don't know what you're saying," but his voice wavers. "The magic is affecting your thoughts, your feelings. Once it settles, I know exactly what I'm saying." I take another step toward him. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry I believed her lies. Sorry I threw your trauma in your face without giving you a chance to explain." Another step. "Sorry I made you think, even for a moment, that you were the monster she painted you as." He's frozen, staring at me like I'm something impossible. "You're not a monster," I whisper, close enough now to see the silver flecks in his eyes, the barely restrained hunger in his expression. "You showed me I didn't have to be just spring, that I could be winter too. That darkness isn't evil, it's just the other side of the coin. Persephone." My name is reverent, desperate on his lips. "If you're saying this because you think it's what I want to hear, I'm saying it because it's true." I reach up again, slower this time, giving him every chance to pull away. My fingers brush his cheek. "I choose you. I choose this. I choose the darkness." For a moment, he just stares at me. Then his control shatters. His hands come up to frame my face, and he pulls me into a kiss that feels like coming home and falling apart all at once. It's desperate and tender and fierce, his mouth moving against mine, like he's trying to memorize every angle, every breath. The silver magic explodes between us again, stronger this time, and I feel it's something fundamental, shifting, completing. When we finally break apart, both gasping, he rests his forehead against mine. "I thought I'd lost you," he whispers. "Thought you'd spend 6 months hating me and then leave forever. I'm not going anywhere." I tighten my grip on him, feeling the completion of something fundamental clicking into place between us. He kisses me again, softer this time, and when he pulls back, he's smiling. It transforms his face, turning the king of death into something young and wondering and beautiful. "My queen," he murmurs, and the words are a vow. Then his expression shifts, becomes serious. "There's something I need to show you, something you need to understand." He takes my hand carefully, reverently, and leads me back toward the thrones. The silver one seems to glow brighter as we approach, as if responding to my presence. "The trial has 2 stages," he says quietly. his silver eyes holding mine. The first is physical, the transformation of your body, your magic, the silver in your veins, the changes to your power. That stage is nearly complete. I nod, touching my chest where I can feel the cold fire pulsing. And the second? The second is a choice. He turns to face the smaller throne, his hand tracing the silver flowers carved into its surface. You have to accept the crown, not because of the contract, not because you're bound here, but because you want it. Because you choose to be queen of the underworld, truly, completely, forever. My breath catches. Forever? Forever. His voice is soft but certain. If you sit on that throne of your own free will, you become part of this realm permanently, not just for 6 months at a time. You'll always belong here, even when you're on the surface. The underworld will be as much a part of you as your heartbeat. He turns back to me, and there's something vulnerable in his expression. I can't ask you to do this. I can't even suggest it. The choice has to be absolutely, completely yours. No pressure, no expectation. I stare at the throne, my throne with its silver veins and carved flowers, its elegant lines designed to sit beside his for eternity. What happens if I don't? I ask quietly. Then the transformation will still complete, but differently. You'll remain bound by the contract. 6 months here, 6 months there, but you won't be truly mine. Won't be truly the underworld's. His jaw tightens, and I'll accept that. I'll never ask for more than you're willing to give. I look at him, this god who has given me nothing but choices, who has waited for me with devastating patience, who looks at me like I'm the answer to a question he's been asking for millennia. Then, I look at the throne, my throne, and I realize there's no choice to make. There never was. I need to tell you something first, I say, and his eyes widen slightly. I reach up, cupping his face in my hands. I love you. I think I loved you from the moment you knelt to tend my wound, from the moment you showed me your library and trusted me with your kingdom's secrets. I love you, and I choose you, and I choose this darkness that feels more like home than anywhere I've ever been. His eyes close, and when he opens them, they're bright with emotion. Persephone, watch, I say softly, and turn toward the throne. I walk to it slowly, feeling the weight of the moment. Every step is a choice. Every breath is a decision. When I reach the throne, I pause, my hand resting on the cool obsidian armrest. Then I sit. The effect is instantaneous and overwhelming. Silver light explodes from the throne, racing through the obsidian like lightning through veins. It spreads across the floor, up the walls, across the ceiling, turning the entire throne room into a constellation of silver and shadow. The blue flames flare brilliant, and I feel the magic surge through me with such intensity that I gasp. But it's not painful. It's completion. I feel the underworld open to me, like a flower revealing its heart. I feel every river, the Styx with its ancient memories, the Lethe with its gentle forgetting, the Charon with its sorrow, the Phlegethon with its cleansing fire, the Cocytus with its frozen grief. I feel every soul that drifts through the asphodel fields, every shade waiting at Charon's shore, every whisper of wind through the crystalline forests. I feel the palace around me, the obsidian halls and silver gardens, the depths where ancient things sleep, and the heights where stars wheel overhead. I feel the weight of Hades' power, vast and patient and eternal, and how my own magic, spring and death, life and shadow, weaves through it like silver thread through dark cloth. I am part of it now, all of it. The underworld lives in me, and I live in it. The transformation completes with a final pulse of magic, and the silver light settles into a steady glow emanating from the throne from me. I open my eyes and find Hades staring at me with something like wonder. "My queen," he breathes, and this time it's not a hope or a dream, it's truth. I smile, feeling the power humming through my veins, feeling the crown that manifests on my head, not metal, but pure crystallized shadow and silver light. "My king," I reply. He moves toward me, and I see it in his eyes. He's about to kneel, to bow before his queen. But I rise from the throne and meet him halfway, taking his hands in mine. "We're equals," I say firmly. "Partners. You don't kneel to me, and I don't kneel to you. We rule together." His smile is blinding. Together, he pulls me close, and as his lips meet mine, I feel the two thrones behind us pulse in harmony. King and queen, shadow and silver, death and life intertwined. And then I feel something else, a wrongness, a disturbance, like a wound being torn in the fabric of the realm itself. I pull back from the kiss, gasping, "Something's wrong." Hades' expression goes from tender to deadly in a heartbeat. He feels it too. I can see it in the way his whole body goes rigid, in the way shadows gather around him instinctively. "The barrier," he says, his voice tight with fury. "Someone's breaking through." The palace shudders. Through the crystalline ceiling, I see the galaxies above ripple and distort. Reality itself is tearing. "Who would dare?" I start, but I already know the answer. "Your mother," Hades says grimly, power rising around him like a storm. "And she's not alone. I feel Zeus's lightning. She's brought the king of the gods himself." Another tremor rocks the palace, stronger this time. Somewhere in the distance, I hear stone cracking, water rising in furious waves. "She's going to destroy your kingdom trying to get to me," I whisper, horror and fury warring in my chest. "Our kingdom," Hades corrects, and his hand finds mine, squeezing tight. "And she'll find it's not so easy to tear down, not when it has a queen to defend it." He looks at me, and in his eyes I see a question. "Are you ready for this?" I think of my mother's desperation, her inability to let me go. I think of the power now thrumming through my veins, the underworld itself responding to my will. I think of the throne behind me, the crown on my head, the king at my side. I am not the spring maiden who wandered into the dark anymore. I am the queen of the underworld. "Let her come," I say, and my voice rings with power I've never had before. "Let them both come. This is my kingdom now, and no one takes what's mine." The doors to the throne room blow open, and we turn to face the coming storm together. And that is the end of part 4. The crown is claimed, but war has arrived. Can the king and queen of the underworld survive the wrath of the gods? Let me know your predictions for the finale in the comments below. Please hit the like button and subscribe to Thorns and Desires so you don't miss part 5. Until then, remember that true power isn't given, it is chosen.